And just before you begin, I would recommend do a little swatch of double crochets. So you could do 10 double crochets for a couple of rows to see how big your gauge is, and that you can understand how many chains you will need to begin with, so that this piece fits half your bust basically. And once you know the length you will need to chain odd number, and I will do a chain of 65. So I'm making a slip knot, putting my hook in and tighten it up, and once again I will be chaining 65. To chain, you yarn over and pull it through the loop on your hook. Again, yarn over and pull it through. So that's 2, 3, 4, and so on. And now I have a chain of 65. That's gonna be the length of mine, and it is about a small size, I would say, but I leave all measurements in description below just in case you want to follow the same exact one. But yeah, once you've got your chain, make sure it's odd numbers. So again, 65 for me, and then I'm gonna chain 1 just to begin my row, so that's the turning chain, and into the second one I will go with double crochet. To do that, you want to yarn over, go into that second chain, pull up a loop and come back, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And I like to start with chain 1 only. You could of course chain 2 or 3 if you prefer that, but yeah, from now on I'm just gonna go in and make double crochet into all chains, which will leave me with 65 double crochets. And again, to do that double, you yarn over, go into the chain, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And this is what you will repeat till the end. So I'm going to do that, and I will meet you at the end of my row. And once you are at the end of your row, you want to chain 3. This will not count as a stitch, so you will always be ignoring that. Once you chained 3, just turn your work, and for the next 2 rows you will be doing double crochet in every single stitch. So just because I don't count this chain of 3, I'm gonna go into that first stitch and make my double crochet, then into the next one, just like so, and I will repeat this till the end. At the end again, I will chain 3 and repeat 1 more time, so that I do have 3 rows in total. I am now nearly at the end of my row 3. I'm just gonna make my last 2 stitches. So that's 1, and before you do your last, you want to only go through 2 loops and leave the other 2 on your hook, as we will change our yarn here. So grab your scissors and cut this one, leaving a bit of a tail. Then grab your lace weight yarn and put that over your hook to pull it through those 2 last loops. Tighten it up, then chain 6, and before continuing, I like to go ahead and place 2 knots here using those 2 tails left. I usually don't do knots, but just because this is a lace weight, it doesn't leave a huge knot. I like to tie those 2 up just to make sure it's secure. Now once you've got your chain of 6, into that same first stitch you want to do a double treble. To do that, you want to yarn over 3 times in total, go into that first stitch, yarn over and come back, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and 1 more time, yarn over, pull through 2. So you are doing this 4 times in total of that yarn over, pull through 2. Then you want to chain 1, skip the next one and go into the third one from here, with double treble again. So yarn over 3 times, skip 1, go into the next, pull up a loop, and yarn over, pull through 2, 4 times in total. Then again, chain 1, skip 1, and into the next, do double treble. And this is what you will repeat. So chain 1, skip 1, and do double treble till the end of your row. And your row should end with double treble just because we have that odd number of stitches. And if you do have even number, this basically won't work out, so make sure you have odd number of stitches. But yeah, I chained 1. I'm gonna go with my next double treble into the next stitch, and I'm always skipping 1 for each chain that I'm doing, and this is what you will repeat. As you can see here, this chain 6 does not count as a stitch, and we have double treble here, so chain 1, skip 1, and do double treble into the one after. Okay, just to show you one more time, chain 1, skip 1, and do double treble in next. So I'm gonna repeat this till the end, and then I will see you at the end of my row. And once you are at the end, you will have double treble in your last stitch here, and that chain 3 does not count, so just ignore it. Then chain 1, turn your work. And for row 5, we will be doing single crochets in all double treble and in all chain 1 space. So just to start off, do single crochet into this double treble like this. Next, in the chain 1 space, and you don't have to go into the chain itself, just go into the space, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. And again, it's your double treble, so go in, do single crochet into the chain 1 space, and this is what you will repeat till the end of your row, and you should have the same amount of stitches throughout all rows, so it will remain 65 for me. But yeah, stitch number should not change, and it will remain the same if you place single crochet for all chain 1 space and all double treble. So this is what I'm going to repeat by doing 1 single crochet above double treble and 1 where the chain 1 space is, and I will meet you at the end of my row. At the end of your row, your last single crochet will be into this last double treble, and you will ignore the chain 6, so do your last single, then again chain 6, and for row 6 it's gonna be row 4 repeat. So we will be doing the same thing over again with this row. So we already got chain 6, then into that same stitch you want to go in and do your double treble, then chain 1, again yarn over 3 times, skip the next one, so that's the chain 1 space with single crochet, and go with your double treble above your double treble, and this is what you will repeat again. So yeah, chain 1, do double treble after skipping 1 single crochet, and repeat this till the end of your row. So I'm gonna do that, and I will meet you then. And I am now at the end of my row 6, so I'm just gonna chain 1 and do my last double crochet into the last single crochet by yarning over 3 times, going into that last stitch, coming back, and I will only pull through 2-3 times so that I have those last 2 loops on my hook to change yarn. Now you can cut this one off, grab your double knit one and pull through those 2 loops, chain 3 for the double crochet row, and again I'm gonna tie a knot with these 2 tails. As you can probably tell, you will be repeating rows 1 to 6 as many times as you need. So just to show you again, I just chained 3, turned my work, and now I'm gonna be doing 3 rows of double crochets. So for your double crochet row, you want to yarn over, go into that very first stitch and do your double crochet. Then do double crochet for each chain 1 space and repeat this till the end. Again, your stitch count will remain the same, and just like that you will need to do 3 rows of double crochets, and then back again with the lace weight yarn you will do your row 4 to 6 repeat. So I'm gonna do that off camera. I will meet you at the end once I have enough rows, but yeah, you will basically be repeating those rows 1 to 6 as many times as you need for your top to be your preferred length, whether that's a cropped or a normal length top. So yeah, I'm gonna do that and I will meet you then. And this is what my one panel looks like. So this is the front one, but I will be doing the same exact thing for the back one as well, which is identical. And what I did, I repeated those 6 rows 3 times in total, and then I did an additional 3 rows of repeat row 1 to 3, just because I wanted my shoulder part basically to be a bit more durable, I'd say, because it is thicker than this lace weight. So it is optional, you can do this or you can finish with the mohair part, but yeah, this is how many rows I did. Now once you've got this one done, I would also recommend finishing off with the long tail for sewing and do the same for your back panel. And you will now need to hide the tails in, so I'm just going to show you how to do that before we move further. So with your needle, I'm going to grab the 2 tails at the same time, meaning that I will hide them both in one go. And I have my work wrong side up, and I will be going into this double knit part. I don't want to go into this one. I would do this if I was only weaving this lace weight. So yeah, what you want to do is just to go under the stitches like so, pull it with your needle, and then repeat the same thing by going the other way as well, just to make sure it doesn't come out. So I'm just gonna go down by 1 row and under the stitches to the side again. So, and the reason why I'm doing this is because if you pulled your top like so, your tail might come out. So you just want to make sure you go at least a few ways to secure it in place. Once that's done, you can cut it off and then repeat the same thing with all of the tails apart from the one you have finished here. And once you've hidden all of the tails, you will need to go ahead and make the same another panel for your back. So repeat all the same steps you did, and then we will join it together. And once you got your back panel, lay it on top of the front, having both of them right sides in. This is where I have my foundation row, so this is gonna be the bottom of my top, and where I have those 2 tails, one from one panel and the other one from another one. This is gonna be our shoulders. So lay on top of each other, right sides in, And we will be using those tails and our hook to slip stitch it together. But before you do this, you want to kind of see how many stitches you want to do, leaving the middle open as your head hole basically. So start with either of the shoulders. I'm gonna do the one on my right first, and I will be slip stitching through 18 stitches all together. So I'm just gonna go into my first stitch here, through the one on the next panel, and I will yarn over to pull up a loop, chain one to secure, and straight into that same stitch do a slip stitch like so, into the next one, and I'm going through both loops, pull up a loop and pull that loop through the one on your hook. So that's 2. I will be doing this 18 times in total. And you can do any other length that you prefer based on your size of the top that you have. If it's smaller, you might as well want to do less stitches, and if it's bigger, you might as well do more than I do. But yeah, just kind of put it against yourself, see how much space you need to leave for your head hole, and then you can kind of determine how big the shoulders should be. But yeah, I'm just gonna do my stitches. And this is how it will look. So that's going to be the size of my shoulder. At the end, I'm just going to chain 1 to secure this in place, pull remaining through, and I will cut this shorter so that I can hide this later on. Now you will need to do the same thing for your second shoulder, making sure that you've got the same amount of stitches that you are doing. So I'm going to do 18 again, and then I will see you once I do that. And once you're done both of your shoulders, just gonna show you what it will look like. So once you slip stitch it together, this is how it will look. The second one quite the same, and that would be my head hole. So yeah, just make sure that your head fits through and you can actually put it on before continuing. But the next step would be to join our sides, leaving armholes so that we can work on our sleeves. Now where I will be joining this up to is basically from the bottom, so where the foundation chain is, up until the middle of this. So I will be joining up until row 9.5, leaving this much for my sleeve opening. So I have my needle with a bit of a double knit yarn, and I will start on this side right here. So I'm just gonna go through the very bottom of my first row, and I will insert my yarn, leaving a tail here. And I'm just gonna be using a simple straight stitch going from one side to the other, making sure that rows are aligned, and I will sew it together. You could also use a yarn and slip stitches, but I feel like sewing is much easier when you have different yarn, and it is a bit easier than slip stitches. But yeah, if you want to do that, you can. Now when I come across those lace weight rows, I'm just gonna go where I can find the spot, making sure that I grab both of the rows so there are no gaps left, and just like so, we'll be sewing up until that row 9.5. So yeah, let me do that, and I will meet you at the end. And this is where I will stop, as you can see, right in the middle of that row 10. And just because I want to hide my tail into this double knit yarn rows, I'm just gonna make my way back, so kind of sew it as well, just in the opposite direction. And once you are there, you can then go in and hide this tail straight away. So again, I'm just going under some stitches, then back the other way. And I will be repeating this a couple of times until I feel that the tail is secure. I'm gonna cut it off. And this is what it will look for my sleeve. So that's gonna be kind of the width of my sleeve. If you want your sleeve to be quite wide, you would need to leave a bit of a bigger armhole, or if you want to be a very slim one, then again quite small. But yeah, once you're done, you want to pull it inside out so that you have it on the right side, so we can do our sleeve. And now to begin the sleeves, you want to grab your sleeve opening having this armpit seam here where you join the side, as this is where we will be joining our yarn. And just before we go in, it's gonna be the single crochet row, and basically for each double treble you will be doing 6 single crochets inside. For double rows you will be doing 2 for each one, and where you have this single, just 1 single crochet above. And obviously, just because I have half this row, I will be doing 3 instead of 6. But yeah, this is just a guidance of how many single crochets you will be placing. And to start off, you want to join your hook into the seam, grab your lace weight yarn and attach it. Chain 1 to secure, and I'm gonna be doing single crochets all around with the numbers I just said. So to start, I will be doing 3 single crochets, above single crochet row, just 1 single crochet, then 6 single crochets, and when you reach your double crochet rows, do 1 single crochet, then the other one for 1 row. So I have 3 double crochet rows and I will be doing 6 in total, 2 for each double crochet. So yeah, just like that, go all around the opening of the sleeve until you come to this spot here, and I will meet you then. And once you come all around, you want to find your very first single crochet you made and do a slip stitch to join into round. And from now on, we will be working in rounds. For row 2 of the sleeve, you want to chain 6. Then into that same stitch, go in with your double treble. Chain 1, skip 1 and go into the one after with double treble. Chain 1. And now I'm gonna skip 2 because I don't want to have my sleeve too wide, so I'll basically alternate between chaining 1, skipping 1, chaining 1, skipping 2, and I will repeat. You don't have to do this, you can count your stitches and see how many it will bring up to if you like the width of it. But yeah, I'm gonna skip 2 this time, go into the third one to do my double treble, then again chain 1, skip 1 only, and do double treble, chain 1, and now skip 2. So we'll repeat these around. When you get half of it done, you can kind of see if it's wide or if it's more of a straight fit. But yeah, I will do this and I will come back to show you at the very end. And I just did half of my sleeve, and by looking at it I can tell that I like the width of the sleeve, so that's what I'm gonna continue doing. At this point you can have a look and see if it's too wide or too small and start over by doing either more skipping or less. But yeah, I'm gonna carry on with this same pattern by skipping 1 and then skipping 2 with my next repeat until the end, and I will see you then. At the end of round 2, you want to chain 1 after your last double treble. Find your first double treble, skipping the chain, and do a slip stitch. Then chain 1, and now you will be going into all of the double trebles and chain 1 spaces to do 1 single crochet. So starting straight with the same one, go in, do single crochet, then into the chain 1 space, and again in double treble. So do this all around and I will meet you then. And at the end of your row 3, which is those single crochets, find your first single and do a slip stitch like so. Chain 6, and we are now going to repeat the round 2 that we just did. So again, straight into that same stitch, do your double treble, chain 1, skip the chain 1 space with single crochet and go above the double treble with double treble. So you are repeating now the same thing again. There's no need to skip the 2 because we are now only doing the double treble above doubles, and this is what you will be repeating. So go all around and do your stitches. I'm gonna do mine and then I will meet you at the end. And at the end of row 4, chain 1, find your first double treble and do a slip stitch, chain 1 to secure, and we will cut this yarn off. Grab your double knit yarn and join it into this stitch where you just finished off. Pull through that new color and chain 3, as we will be doing a row of double crochets. Now into that same stitch, go in and do your first double crochet, into the next one, double crochet, which is chain 1 space, then again above the double treble, and as you can see I have my tails at the back, and when I go with the stitch I always have it above my hook so that I can then carry it in. But yeah, this is what you will repeat for this round, doing 1 double crochet for each chain 1 space and each double treble. So do that all around and I will meet you then. Now at the end of your row, find your first double crochet, go in and do a slip stitch, then again chain 3, start with the first one and do double crochet, and repeat those double crochets all around until you have finished the row. Then repeat this one more time and you will have 3 rows of double crochets all together. If it helps at all, my row for the sleeve is 54 stitches. Again, I will leave the measurements of the sleeve in description below if you want to follow the same exact one. But yeah, I'm gonna go and do my 3 rows and then I will meet you at the end. And now once you are at the end of that 3rd double crochet row, find your first double crochet, do a slip stitch and chain 1 to finish off. Cut your yarn leaving a bit of a tail and pull it through. this is what you will be repeating. So again, from double treble row, then single crochet, double treble, and 3 double crochet rows. These 6 rows will be your repeat until your sleeve is long enough, and don't count that very first row of single crochets. It was just to shape the armhole and do that very first round. And I have my sleeve done now. What I did was those 6 rows, I did 4 times in total, and then I ended up going for another 3 rows with this lace weight, doing double trebles, and I kind of like how it ends this way, but I would just suggest to focus on the length. No matter what row you will end up, just see that you have it on the length that you prefer. Once your sleeve done, you will need to repeat the same thing for another one, hide all the tails in, and this is it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, don't forget to hit subscribe, like this video, and I'll see you in my next one.